Dang.
Wait
a minute. Remove. I have to remove the because I was going to stream it straight to your site, but it said you can't do it because you had some things on there that was bad, where you were banned, where you can't put out. Your mic is on. Your mute is on.
I can't. My site is being banned. My daggone Acromat site. Yeah.
You know, like I say, social media, and this is what I say: we got to have our own shit. I'm talking about down to the electricity.
Yeah, we need to have everything.
Yeah, seriously, because it's like
they're horrible. They're horrible. They're horrible.
What happened to free speech? Cause you say shit, then you don't do it. What's that? Oh, you couldn't give me one, huh?
I got one here for you.
Oh, okay. You so sweet. I want to welcome everybody to African Americans, the Thing Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, and digging this one, as I always on Fridays. I'm enjoying the evening with the Accomack clan mother, Lisa Cypress. How you doing?
Hey, Halito, Kayuk, as the Accomack say.
Kayuk. I like it because you hear these different words and phrases from different parts, like Accomack. You'll hear some down from the brothers in Louisiana, Tennessee,
right?
Like that Gullah Geechee.
Yeah,
cool. I think if you can, it's cool if you can pick those out. You know, according to the environment that they're in, because it's nobody sounds like that in the world.
Right.
So a lot of times we just play on what we look like. It ain't just like it's what you are, what you sound like.
It's what we are.
You are.
It's what everything that we are is what we've always been. We don't have to remix it. We are it.
So I want to say hello to Jay Indigenous, Bam the Super Predator, John Nick, App Trader, Copper Color Lifestyle 94, my girl, and Damaric Ballard. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. And Lisa and I were talking earlier in the week, and we were talking about, everything we see that goes around us. The politics, the food, every aspect of that we complain about, is something that we're not in control of ourselves.
Right.
So the question was asked, and I'm gonna let you guys please chime in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the chat in here, and if you guys want to come in and say something and give your 3 cents, please do. I just posted where you can come on the chat and say something. Please be brief, keep it in context with what we're talking about. Let's chop it up.
That sounds good.
So when we say these monsters don't create themselves, so what I'm saying is, what do we do to make sure the monster functions? I mean, how do we make it happen?
We create monsters in our lives, right? I mean, we always do that, right? First of all, where does it start? In our minds. The monsters start in our minds, right? We either we just create it in our minds, or we let that NK Ultra penetrate it as children, and it creates these monsters and fears. Sometimes we get them from our parents. I was just talking to my sister about the quicksand, because one of the sisters on one of these apps is A Shinnecock. What else? I'm trying to say what tribe she is.
Shinnecock.
Shinnecock. A Shinnecock. Yeah. Okay. She's a Shinnecock. And Celestine went to her reservation that she lives on. And she had to put wood down because Celestine was like, she didn't want her to sink into quicksand. And I don't know about you, Carrie, but all those Three Stooges movies, just almost all the movies, Tarzan, like quicksand was a major feature in our growing up time movies. Like I was always afraid of quicksand, and my sister was like, "There's quicksand in our woods by where we lived." I said, "She said you told me there was." I said, "But I just made that up because I had been watching some." I just made it up. It was no real quicksand, but I was obsessed with quicksand. So we create these monsters in our minds. That's how they start, and then also we also believe that this 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 pale European is a big monster that we can't overcome. We think that U.S. corporation is a big monster we can't overcome. Everything becomes a monster. You can't win. Monster, monster. We're defeated. Oh, we're dying. Monster, monster. The COVID's gonna get us. Monster, monster. Must take this vaccine. Monsters, monsters. We create this in our heads, and But the bad thing about it is that when we lived in our privacy, when we lived on our little houses and our little farms and our big farms, we didn't have nobody up in our ear. Literally now, like my earpiece, we have people in our ear. We have people in our face that have nothing to do with us and have no good intended to us.
Yeah, and to me, that's exactly why the language, why like when you said Kayuk, those are the kind of terms we're going to have to start refil- re- refamiliarizing ourselves with, because a lot of it is the words that we use, and we take those words and we attach them onto ourselves and wear them around our neck like a big gold chain.
Right,
Just the
right,
terms and words, and the words. I know it's not monster how you just put it in, but it has the same effect,
right.
because they can give you a word that's not even yours. That's not Kayuk. They can give
Right.
you a word and you take that word and run around with it like it's something that you created all the
Exactly.
time, fucking up everything,
Mm-hmm.
everything,
Everything.
just because you don't know the words.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can you give me a couple of examples of some of the monsters we create where it's something that we can all see? Uh,
Well, a lot of a lot of times we feel like we don't have power and we don't have the ability to change our outcomes, whether it is creating our own businesses or actually recreating our own rights. We're always begging and pleading, Massa, 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 can you give me a handout? Can you give me reparations? Can you give me this? Can you give me a right? But as the Indians that we are, we have the highest rights in the land. And that's what we don't understand. And all these people that are leading you astray and want you to be all these other things, you're gonna be Hebrew, you're gonna be a more Indian, you're gonna be a Hebrew Indian. Hey, these are all mechanisms. Mechanisms have their mechanisms, right? And let me tell you about the reality of how we are letting our minds play games with us, making the monsters, right? Um, so we feel like we can't do anything. We have no remedy. We have the remedy. The remedy is inside of you. The remedy is within your genealogy. The remedy is within your bloodline. But you keep running for the remedy and you want something you can pop in the microwave, right? You want something that's just going to be instantaneous gratification, right? You want to get some results without having to put the work in, without having to put the work in. What? But the reality is, you have to put the work in, and the reality is, you're not going to reap the great benefits without putting the work in. All right, let's get real about the monsters. What's the big bad monsters? The police, the government, jail, right? Taxes, monsters, right? Poverty, right? Lack of control. Hey, who's on? Who's in there with us? Who
Brian,
is that? Who is
Brian,
that?
Brian's in.
Helito.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Alito,
Helito.
Kayuk,
Good to see you.
Kayuk. Yeah.
I guess I got a lot of echo, right?
No, it's not that bad. Not that bad.
I'm I'm getting a lot of echo on my end, so I just wanted to comment on this topic, you guys, which is great. And all I want to really quickly say, as quickly as possible, is how it's exactly okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting this feedback, so I'm hearing myself like twice. Let me see if I can mute something or something. I don't know, but okay, I'll say it. What I'm experiencing in this time, in this cycle that we're in, or this new age that we're in, and what I would like to add is that you're right. Everything that it's all in our how we are using our mind.
Right.
What I'm finding, and it's very real, and I know it's ancestors. I know it's ancestors,
Right.
but the minute I'm troubled in my mind, like soon after the answer appears.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's so wonderful about being us. Like they're right there. If I
Right.
could give an example, when I was unaware, uh, I was uh, I was Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who came to me and said, "Well, have you been saved?" And I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what he was talking about.
Right.
When I told him I was Catholic, he said that wasn't good enough. So I tell you no lie. That week, within that week, I know my spirit was troubled, and I had an like almost an instant opportunity to quote unquote become saved.
Right.
But the way it happened is I didn't look for it. It appeared like I didn't know what church to go to. I didn't know. I was just a little scared, and
Right.
I realized that's how it has always been in my life.
Hmm.
And I realized, hey, that's the ancestors, the gods. I don't know what we want to call them, but and it's happening right now in this cycle. Like
Okay.
I've been looking for my quote unquote what you call my sovereignty, and I found it
Right.
was revealed to me where to go, how to do it, what to do, and I am pursuing it.
Okay.
It's not for everybody. I understand that, but I realize what I keep having to remind myself is why are you stressing? You know that when you put that call out, like the bat signal, the
Right.
ancestors is right on top of it, on it.
Oh, they're on it first.
And
They're
so all the
first and
stuff we're
foremost.
experiencing is an illusion because
Right.
they are right there behind us
Right.
right now, and they're stronger than ever. When
They're
they talked
stronger than
about
ever. Yep.
when they talked about us becoming supermen, I realized they were not lying because
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's equivalent to. I
Yeah.
Yes, and they knew it was happening. That's why we have this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just wanted to share that with you, my brother and sister. I saw the topic and it inspired me to say this with you. Thank you so much.
Well, cool. Thank you for giving us a call, man. Please call back
You
again.
welcome, brother.
All right.
Love you too, brother. Love you, sister.
All right.
Love you too. Wow, that's cool. So the monsters, he's right. The ancestors are working so hard and so strong. Like they are invincible. Like we don't even have to do anything. You just gotta just move in the right direction generally, and they're gonna take the rest in their hands. Like seriously. Let me tell you about my week, y'all. Let me tell you about this week. So The ancestors, the monsters. What is the worst monster you can think of? I could tell you the worst monster I can think of was I was sitting in this room and I got a phone call about in May, and it was Lisa. I just got arrested. Now what you gonna do? Help. You got arrested. What you get arrested for? Oh, well, I was feeling a little bit depressed and I did some cocaine. You was dabbling? Child, no judgment. Okay. So I called 911. Okay, cool. And when I called 911, I went to the emergency room and then I still felt like I was going to die. So I said, it's a cocaine. It's in my purse. Really? It's the story, you want to talk about a monster. I was like terrified. Like, I'm like, this story is just getting horrific. So then, of course, like, then it gets even worse. Well, I know she got arrested because she called me and said she got arrested. So I'm like, how are they arresting you as a patient? I've been a nurse for 30 plus years. I ain't never seen a patient. I seen people that got arrested selling drugs and then ingested the drugs and then cardiac arrested and then handcuffed to the bed. But that is in the midst of, merchandising, trading and all that kind of stuff. And it's a different thing. I've had overdoses that never got criminal charges against them, right? Many overdoses I have managed, right? So I'm like, why are they making you into a criminal? You seeking emergency care and they make you into a criminal? And so then it's like, now it's time to show and prove, right? Are the monsters bigger than us? Are the monsters bigger than us, or are you bigger than the monster? Are you bigger than the monster? I didn't know. I was like, well, I have to act bigger than the monster because I ain't gonna beat no monster unless I know I'm badder than the monster, right? I'm not gonna beat the monster unless I know I'm better than the monster. So that's what you have to do. You have to outwit your own enemy in your mind. You have to say, yes, I'm better than this. Yes, I'm bigger than this. I can handle this. Can you handle this? I didn't know, but I know I better do it. And I know that I can do it. I'm not a lawyer, I'm a nurse. Right? I'm a nurse. So I'm like, okay, I know your rights. I can Google your rights. I can look up the law, right? I'm an intelligent person. So you Google, you find out that there's, a immunity clause, right? If you are seeking emergency care, there's immunity clause. And I'm a person, I'm a nurse that has experience. So I know that if you actually reverse a drug with Narcan, that drug rebounds. I've had patients rebound 3 times where I had to redo the Narcan like 3 times because they ended up high or under the influence again. So how can you give someone their Miranda rights if they're still under the influence? I know that. I know that you can't make a patient into a criminal. And what's the most powerful thing that I know, y'all? That all of you can say is that she's an Indian. Because this sister had done her affidavit years prior. This sister had enrolled as an ACAMAC prior. She had her paperwork. Now she didn't have her ID because I hadn't, I don't think she had given me a picture and stuff like that. But anyway, COVID, whatever. She didn't have her ID, but she had her affidavit and she had her enrollment, right? That was awesome because then I was like, okay, cool. She's done this. It's been done in advance. It's notarized. It's done right. She got it. So then I was like, okay, this is a whole new area because I haven't had criminal law ever. So then I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to write a letter to the district attorney because it's in that person's hands now. And I wrote a letter explaining the situation like I outlined to y'all, that she's a freaking, first of all, she's an Indian, an Accomack Indian, an Indian which is protected by the Constitution, the ANDRIP, and supported by the ANDRIP and the UNDRIP. Period. Self-governed. She is the property, as I put it in my affidavit, of the Accomack, not of the U.S. government corporation, not of the daggone Virginia corporation or the county corporation. She is under our jurisdiction, as is anyone with any nonviolent crimes. Like not murder, you know what I mean? So so you have to, so I put all that in writing, along with the fact that they, didn't give her Miranda rights, and they didn't treat her with immunity as she should, because she cooperated fully with the nurse and the police officer. In addition to that, they tried to coerce her to wear a body camera, to be an informant. They wanted to make her into a criminal, make her commit a crime, so that they can get evidence. That is not proper. And it's also you doing this to someone who's still under the influence. So I put that all in writing, and then finished it off with she's under our jurisdiction, and you need to drop this case. Also, I devised another affidavit, which I hadn't before until this situation came up, which was more of a police legal affidavit that addresses our rights and declares our status in dealing with the law, right? And so I did this, and I made it up for her and gave it to her to give to her state police, her county police, and the district attorney. And we did it in advance of her court date, right? Trying to get this thing, get ahead of it, because everything is about communicating ahead. It would have been even better if we had done this last year, right? But I didn't think about this coming up like this. So anyway, we sent it out, and then she panicked and she called a lawyer. I was like, girl, I can't do nothing. Because you guys, when we are fearful, when you have fear, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Carrie, when you're scared? You call a lawyer, right?
Or call no one.
Well, she called a lawyer out of fear because the monster, right?
Right.
And what's that lawyer? Well, we come to find out, if y'all don't know, that lawyer is the worst monster there is. That defense lawyer is the worst monster that there is. They are the worst monster, right? Because they're pretending to be protecting you.
And they're
not. Right. So she calls the lawyer, and I'm like, girl, it's out of my hands. I wanted to do it because it gives us an opportunity to actually exercise our rights as Indigenous people, right? And so I was scared, I honestly a little bit scared, because I'm a nurse, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not trying to act like a lawyer, but I am acting like a tribal leader, right? And I wanted the opportunity to exercise our rights as Indigenous people. However, she handed it over to a lawyer. So now I told her, you are like a child. By getting the lawyer, you are saying, I can't speak for myself. I can't. Let her speak to me. Her speak. I can't speak. But the actual Constitution, this country was designed so we could legally speak for ourselves. Right? But we don't know that. And we don't try that. And we don't exercise that. And we have these people speaking for us who just don't give a doggone. So she got the lawyer, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And then she comes back to me again, and she's like, the lawyer. Okay, at first she said the lawyer said, oh, she gave the lawyer my paperwork, and the lawyer said everything would be dropped. So I was like, cool, 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 fine. She's gonna follow the script, and she agrees with me. It's gonna get dropped. But then a couple weeks in, I actually told her to get therapy. Go ahead and get into a 12-step program. Get yourself some counseling, whatever. She did so pronto, right? I said, because if you're going, because the lawyer had set a court date, and it was in August, and coming in August. Well, so I said, you better get yourself straight before you even go to court. And the lawyer then said the same thing after I told her that, right? So then the lawyer, 2 weeks into it or 3 weeks into it, whatever, says, well, you know what? You may have to be on probation. And she also lost her job. She lost her job because someone told that she had this charge against her. So she lost her job. And then she ended up getting a job because I was in the community kind of like making a fit about the fact that the people were not hiring the indigenous people in the area. And she, like a smart person, jumped on that daggone my outcry. Like that same week I made that public outcry. She jumped on it and ended up getting a job on the spot. So she ended up rebounding pretty quick on the job sit front. But then the lawyer told her that she was gonna have to pay restitution and be on probation. Restitution. What is that, what is that, Carrie? Why why would they require restitution when who was the victim?
They're taking the funds out of your pocket and putting it into theirs, like everything they do. But you give it, then when you realize you made a mistake and want your shit back, they call you an Indian giver. That's all they're doing all the time. They're just trying to bilk you, take from you.
We're the cash cows.
Right.
The Negro, the African American, the black person is a cash cow. And you know what she said? She went on Facebook today. She said, I got scared and listened to black people. She said, I got scared and listened to black people. And then no truer words have been said because I was trying to help, but she got scared and listened to black people. Right? And the black people, what are they full of? They're full of fear of monsters. And what do they trust? They trust the monsters. How are you afraid of monsters and you trust the monsters? Just like you're afraid of COVID, but then you take a jab in your arm full of daggone a COVID factory. You take a jab that's a COVID manufacturer. It makes COVID in your body. That's what we do. We fear the monster and then we run to the monster. Why did she regretted running to that monster that was looked like, oh, I'm your defense attorney, but was turning her into a criminal with a record that she never had and a debt that she never had before. And I was furious. Not at her, but at the system and at the lawyer. Because the lawyer attended my first summit. So she knows about the ACMAC. She was there with her black husband, honey. So now what? So I'm mad, and I said, we're going to the district attorney. So we go to the district attorney's office, and I'm like, he says that he can't speak in front of her, so she has to leave. And I'm like, I'm her travel leader. I said, she is not part of this U.S. government. She is a tribal citizen. She is out of your jurisdiction. And I said, in addition, you're criminalizing her. Restitution? Her lawyer says she has to pay restitution. What are you talking about? This is outrageous. She's a patient. He's looking down and to the left. He's looking nervous. He says, no, I can't talk to you because you're not her lawyer. And I was like, okay. So I leave and I go to the truck and I said, fire that lawyer now. She gets on the phone and she fires her on the spot. But then she says to the lawyer, she calls me back the next day. I told her that you were going to represent me. I said, wait a minute, did you imply I was a lawyer? She said, well, I tried to tell. What? I said, they're going to try to hang me up for me. What? I cannot get hung up trying to present myself as a lawyer like I'm not a lawyer. I said, so what I did was I devised a notice of attorney, change of attorney, and I clearly stated that I am her tribal leader. I'm representing her as a tribal citizen. I am not an attorney. And she does have rights because she is a tribal citizen and she is not under their jurisdiction and she is covered by the Constitution, the UNDRIP, and the ANDRIP. And I just took the other anyway. So I had her send that. I wanted her to deliver that to the courthouse and to the district attorney, but she decided that she would call and fax it. And I was like, what? And I was like, they couldn't act like they never got it. They could, they might have. So I was like, girl, you better get over there and you better hand deliver those things to both those entities, the district attorney and to the courthouse. So she goes there yesterday and she delivers the document, and the police, with her feathers on, and the police come. I mean, the police are at the counter and they're like, what's your name? And she said her name and they were like, I know that name. Yeah, your case got dropped. Yes. Case dropped.
All because you were bigger than the monster.
You gotta be bigger than a monster.
One of the guys just said, and since we've been going through the messages, one of the guys said, you were talking about another one of the monsters, and he said it. Later for the monster, the devil.
Yeah, you won't call the devil. That's
Yes.
true. Everybody thinks that, these things are something, they gotta be ugly, hideous, scary. You know what I mean? No, they're not ugly, hideous, scary. They're sweet little old ladies, they look like they're trying to do you a favor. You know what I mean? They're your own people that look like they're related to you. It may even tell you, yeah, we cousins. They're your cousins. They tell you that they're your cousins, right? They pretend to be you to pretend to be part of your family, or they may be part of your family. Those are the monsters. The monsters are not scary because if they look like monsters, you wouldn't get close to them. That would be too easy.
Right.
The monsters are like this. Oh, you're filing your case? Oh, do you want to change your address on there? Because I want to make sure everything gets to you. Meanwhile, knowing that that's going to mess your whole case up because you'll be in the wrong jurisdiction if you change addresses. That's what they do. They sit up there and sit up there and smile and act like they're helpful. And they want to help you. And they're volunteering to make it easier on you. That's what monsters have nice flowing hair and smiles and shit. monsters are very quiet and well mannered. No, the monsters are not what you think, and the monsters come on your TV and say like, we care about you, Dr. Fauci, I care about you. I don't know why y'all think he's not a monster, but I mean, he looks like a rat. I care about you. Why are people not taking the vaccine? They need to get back. He cares about no one. He's a godless, soulless entity. These beings are godless, soulless entities. They are not even beings. They're entities. And yet we don't see them as monsters. We think the fake disease that they want you to be scared of I'm not saying it's not a disease. I probably had it twice. I'm pretty sure I had it twice. You know, but you know, it's not that it's not a disease, but it's not a monster that is some mass killer. The mass killer is the lack of care and the lack of having a treatment plan or any kind of proper treatment to actually save people. They were never trying to save people. They were never. That was never on the agenda. The agenda from the first moment was the vaccine. They gave it to you in flu shots. That's why your grandmamas and all them had it, even in nursing homes, because they're dedicated to their doctor and getting their flu shots. Think about it. And then when they get sick, you're not worried about coming around them. That's your family. Most of these diseases, when they popped up, it was a family that got all hit up. They all got hit up because they weren't worried about each other, but grandmama took the daggone vaccine. Not the vaccine, but the flu shot. Now it's the vaccine you got to worry about because those people are producing, they're manufacturing that thing inside of them.
What about this Delta variant that they're talking about? How does that play into the first COVID
It's
play?
everything is just ridiculously a lie. Everything that's a variant, everything that they have, everything they tell you is just to scare you. Why are they get why would you think that the vaccine is going to help a variant? It's going to be variant ready. Like it's able to switch lanes, it's able to change itself. Like how is it going to be ready? When you got the flu vaccine and everybody got sick, even though they took the daggone flu vaccine, they said, "Oh, it's a different strain. That's the same thing as a different variant." Using a different word isn't making any different. Variant, strain, it's the same daggone thing. So when they tell you it's a new variant, it's the same thing as when they said, "Oops, you got the vaccine, but it's a different strain this year." You're out of luck, Chuck. You're out of luck. But they're acting like you getting the vaccine is going to help this new variant. The vaccine is not meant to help you. It's meant to make you into an entity like them. You will be something that they can control legally. You will not be covered by the Constitution, and you will be a daggone patented creature, a biogenetic creature. You will be like what is those things? These daggone foods and stuff they're making up and stuff. They're gonna factor you like they're manufacturing daggone plants and stuff. You just the same way with this vaccine inside of you.
And there's been pretty of images shown of people already done that. Did you get that? What I sent you earlier today? That woman walking on her hands backwards.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh,
I don't believe. Okay, y'all. First of all, don't believe all the things you see, but some of this stuff is also these people are putting out false information on both sides. But some of these things are exaggerated. I don't know if I believe. I don't believe, but really, I don't believe half of nothing. I really don't. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't believe half of
believe
nothing.
half of what you hear. That heard
Nothing.
the grapevine.
I ain't got
No,
no
no,
facts
no, no,
and
no.
no videos.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
No
But
videos.
but there are some things, and you can see them walking down the street. You can see people are different.
Now I can tell you. I can tell you from watching the first nurses I work with get it and how they change. There's a lot of depression amongst people. There's a lot of flat affect. People ain't got no sense of humor no more. They ain't got no personality. They flat. They boring. They weird. Okay, yeah. There is um a problem, and the problem is, sorry y'all. The problem is that yeah, it does change their personalities, it changes their daggone energy, it changes their level of the depression. It increases depression. Suicide's definitely gonna take a daggone jump. But see, the thing about it is, the crazy thing is that we're so strong. Everything they try to get against us, their people can't handle it, even in the weakest strain, even with the weakest variation, because they don't give the same concoction in our neighborhoods as they give in their neighborhoods. They may be giving them daggone salt water, but you're getting some terrible, toxin, So you have to understand that as well. But at the same time, they can't handle nothing. And the fact that they're getting stressed and worried about this whole situation is killing them in large numbers anyway. And they're already low in numbers as it is. They're bringing in people to make into Europeans, to make into white people, because they can't make any themselves. And they want to kill your babies. They want you to put this in your children so they can't reproduce. They want to make your children gay so they can't make any more children. They want you gone. Because if they can't enjoy your country, they don't want you here to enjoy it. If they don't get it, nobody gets it. How spoiled is that? How spoiled is that? If I don't get it, nobody gets it. You ain't gonna enjoy it. I'ma F it up. I'ma mess it all up. I'm bringing a bunch of ratchet immigrants in here to make it horrible for you. Horrible. And let me tell you, what did I tell you about in the news article? Did I tell you about in the news article here in Virginia? There's an African that raped this woman, and two female bodies was found in his apartment.
Oh,
These
dear.
Africans, hello,
Yo,
you
man.
need to,
Yo, man. So, I mean, this is how I would do it. This is how I would do it. Get on the program, like the program we're on. If somebody's talking, I would wait for a break because the person is saying something and we lose that. So if you come in, let the person who's talking, let them finish. Then come in. I mean, damn.
yeah,
Go ahead, Lisa, if you can remember what you was going to say.
Yeah, I was just talking about the fact that these immigrants, they're painting a picture of these people being, talented and successful and all this, but we got them stealing our babies and riding around with white vans and picking up our children and raping our women and killing them in our apartment, and then nobody's even doing anything about it. Like nobody is even doing about the daggone two bodies that this man had in his apartment. How is that? How is that okay? So they murdering us and getting away with it, and you an invader? How is an invader able to come in and start killing our people?
I'm perplexed by us wanting to serve him and do what he does, because a lot of times it's us, and I think that's one of the things we don't look at. We don't look at the hand we play in it, and then try to act like I didn't know.
Right.
Nah.
Right, because we do love up on these people. We worship them. Oh, everything comes from the Africa, and everything is great in Africa, and I'm African. And then they come here and they don't like you, they don't respect you, and then they trying to take your daggone economics away, take your daggone education away, and now they trying to take your life. You okay with that though?
And you cool with it?
Yeah, it's all good. We all family.
Chief,
Ooh.
Chief Spirit Cherokee, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah. Still, how do you stop? I people like children shut up. This is what you know I am Carrie there, Joseph Cooper out here in Las Vegas. I had one lady, I told her that I was indigenous this week, the other day. And I had told her I can't pay no taxes. And the lady kept saying, well, you got to pay taxes. Everybody else pay taxes, what your sister said earlier. They kind of throwing that identity to who we are. Basically saying, oh, you don't have no right, this and that. Oh, you're sovereignty right. You don't have that. You're sovereignty right. You doing this and that. I'm saying, ma'am, I'm indigenous. I'm a Cherokee and Chinese Indian. I got my paperwork. I speak the language from my grandmother. So What's the problem? She said, "Oh no! I did everybody paid the taxes. Oh, you in America? Well, you on my land. Hello, you on my land.
Right.
That
I
kind
can do whatever I want." See, this
Right.
what thing we have to do when we talk. Like we come in the chat room and talk, we
Mm-hmm.
have to unify ourselves and let these people know. Listen, we ain't putting up with it.
Right.
We ain't talking with it. Now, if you want to get down, we can show how we get down. Back then, in 1800, we can do it down in 2021, baby.
That's
So we
right.
have to go move forward. See, I go in the chat room, talk to all these brothers and sisters. They gonna money. They gonna do this and do that. But like I tell brothers and sisters today, if you don't have no foundation, you
Right.
can't build.
can't
My
be it.
grandma used to tell me that.
Right.
Absolutely right.
Right. You have to have a foundation. And the only reason that actually, what happened with the sister and us worked is because they know who we are. It's not like it's a game. We're not pretending. We're not organizing ourselves under some fake umbrella. They know exactly who the people that live on the Eastern Shore are. They know where the Acmac Indians. They know it. They know it. They know what they did. They know whose land they living on, whose land they stole. They know. So it's not like we sitting up here trying to perpetrate. The Native Americans might think we're perpetrating, but the white folks know who the hell we are.
Well, the Native Americans know you're not perpetrating because they know they are. See, all you got. Okay, so like today, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where Chief Cali comes in real cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Cleveland Indians, they changed their names to something else today.
Mm.
So that's what I mean, trying to erase us out, out of the history of America. Just
Right.
they did it with Redskins and they did
Mm-hmm.
it with Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Whole part about it is you got these Native Americans doing that, and that doesn't represent them.
Right.
But we don't say anything. We just,
Right.
oh, we African. I'm
Right.
African. And
Right.
it's clearly you.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like the brother was saying, you better start speaking up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just gonna sit there with your mouth closed, they can remove you to anywhere.
They will and they want to.
Yeah, because I get a report and seeing a lot of stuff they going on with NASA, what they doing with the moon, the Mars. They get ready to wipe us out. Like one sister, I can't remember her name, Copper Color, whatever. Me and her and a couple other guys were checking the chat room the other day, and a couple of weeks ago as well. And I was explaining to y'all, they got alien technology to get ready to wipe us out. They are not playing. They don't give a damn how we feel. They really don't. So we have to understand this. If you're gonna wipe us out, we better get on the same page on there. We gotta get some with the damn technology. Fuck all this talking. You talking about later? I mean, no, get with the program, motherfucker. Cause I came out of the military, worked on the military a little bit, and out of college. But here, time I look around, somebody tell me, well, I'm African, I'm black, I'm this, I'm that. But you don't put the work in. How you do this, man? How you get that, man? How you get the woman? How you get the nice cars? Because I'll put the work in, motherfucker. Quit bullshitting, and you better get somewhere.
That's
Like
right.
my grandma used to tell me, I ain't cut you. My grandma used to tell me like this. Boy, you don't understand the world. When you mess with the world gonna mess with you. If you quit bullshit, you get somewhere.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, brother, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight, man. And please call again. Make yourself known.
All right, I will,
That's
bro.
what's
I'm
up.
out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was great.
Okay, so what with his accent, where
I
was he
love
from?
it.
Where's he from?
Hey, what is he from? I mean, he said he was from
He in Las Vegas.
Arizona. Yeah, Las Vegas. I would never know that though. He sounds like he's from Louisiana or something.
Okay.
Right? Sounds kind of
So
similar to
that's what I'm saying.
Louisiana. Yeah.
So are you familiar with the brother Kwame Brown?
Yes.
Yeah. So you see how he talks, how
Yes.
he sounds. So
Yes.
that's what I'm trying to pick up in the people, different people. Because even up north, they sound different.
Right. We all have our little
Yeah.
dialects, our patois, our ways of saying things from our different areas, and yet we have an understanding, right? We have our own little rhythms, but then we have our own little inflections and everything. It's all cool. It's just like different words. just within even the same state. Even there's gonna be slight differences. Where we talk on the Eastern Shore is way different from where they talk up in the mountains, right?
Right.
Cool.
Right. So somebody asked earlier. I lost the text. They was like, how do you begin to organize yourself? Because they were talking about affidavits. How do you begin to do that, or what
You
should
have
one do?
I mean, y'all don't if y'all don't know, I've repatriated my people. It's a big it's a just it's a big deal. But anybody I'm only one person and I'm doing just about everything. I have support from my sisters. And my sisters, they show up on the powwows and you know, they may, offer, mental, emotional support. But it's basically one person. And it's always gonna start like that. If you ain't ready to do all the work, you ain't ready, right? Because especially in families, your families ain't all gonna be of the indigenous mindset. Now, a lot of people are getting together with different indigenous people and like trying to form these little co-ops of. But you know what? There's not real strength in that because in these little co-ops of people that are all scattered all over. Oh, I'm this organization, I'm that organ. It's not like in like us, like we're all in one county, right? And they already know our genealogy pretty much. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're all interconnected and related. So when we did something like this, why did it work? It didn't work just because we were Indians. It worked because the history is there. It worked because they know the records are there. It's there because they know the bloodline and the genealogy is there. That's why it worked. The Indian is a right that we all have, but if you don't have yourself organized properly under your proper identification in families, it's not going to be as powerful.
Right.
It's just not. You're not going to be able to replicate what we can do if you don't have all those, things kind of clicking. So yeah, you can do that. You can simulate, but it's not going to be the same. You know what I mean? The most powerful thing you can do is to repatriate your people. And that's what I did. I said, I know that we are all Accomack Indians and of this lineage here. We all have the same surnames and circulated throughout time. It goes back and back and back. All of our grandparents are Indians.
Right.
So the records, we got patents, we got everything. So it's like, so what did I do? I said, okay, I'm going to actually renew us. I'm going to rejuvenate us because we were never gone. We actually our exodus was together. Half of us had an exodus because of the daggone terrorism that was placed upon us there. Half of us left the daggone area and went up north. But we did it together. Our unity, our culture, our tribe remains together. And we always came back every daggone year, several times a year. We kept our connect. Most of us moved back, had businesses here, had several houses here. My aunties had houses on the Eastern Shore and businesses on the Eastern Shore, even though they had moved to New Jersey. So our connectiveness was always intact. Our culture always intact. But the thing is, all I'm doing is actually formalizing our organization and resecuring it formally, right? And how did it start? With genealogy, knowing and getting all the names, and then going out and researching, finding all the people, not just my cousins. I know my cousins, but what about those other names that I don't know? What about those people that I don't know who are Accomack? So I reach out on Facebook. It's a great way to meet and reach people you can find out where they're from. You can look at it and say, oh, they're from this area. This is where my people are from. That's the county. Okay, that's where my people are from. And then what is your genealogy? Then you can do their genealogy. You may know it before you even see them. Before you know what I'm saying? And then you link up. And then you tell them about the history and that, you know what, we're Indians. And then you say, okay, I'm going to formalize it and make a daggone, not for profit, a daggone corporation, organize ourselves, make a constitution, create a daggone mission statement, or register yourself with the UN. Do all these things, right? To make yourselves formal, right? And then you have an affidavit, you have an enrollment form, which requires them to have genealogy that leads them back into who they are. And then you say, look, now you have to change your status. You can't be African American if you're an ACAMAC. So then they have to do affidavits to change their actual identification, change their tax status, change, and now it also you need to change your how you're governed, change that status. How you are policed and governed. That's the other thing that I devise.
So that's why you don't want the criminal minded, right?
What do you mean?
Well, because those will be the ones sent in on you,
Onto me?
onto anything. So like you're making waves now.
Right.
We seeing. Okay, so how do we stop this? And how it's normally done, they send one of us in on us.
Oh, then no. You know what they sending on me? This is what they sending on me. Fine chocolate brothers wearing a hat like mine, right? Just so happens.
Oh, that's so cute.
Fine chocolate, talking about, yes, sister, I've been waiting for you to help wake us up. You did. The sisters, the matriarchs got to lead the way, saying all the right things. That's what they send in on you. They send stuff like that,
Oh, okay.
right? That's the stuff they do. And then you supposed to be like, oh yeah, gaga goo goo. Yeah, bro, come on in. But then you're not supposed to think, well, this is really a bit strange, right? Like,
Right.
where did this come from out of nowhere? I've been, when there's talking this, and who is this person? Then you got to investigate the person. You'd be like, yeah, I see you, brother. I know who you're connected to. I know really what you're about. Move on.
Well, cool. These monsters that we say don't create themselves. Any other thing you want to talk about on that subject?
Well, how about these terrible children? These terrible children. Everybody act like they don't know where they came from, how they got all terrible. These terrible children that we create because we don't want to be bothered with the discipline. We want to let the TV raise them. We want to let their phones raise them. We don't want to take the time to correct them, discipline them. We don't want to have to follow through with the words that we speak. And they know our inconsistency, so they lose respect for us. Right? That's how you lose, right? These kids are sharp. If you are inconsistent, they pick that up immediately. They lose all respect when you're inconsistent. They be checking. They watching and they clocking you.
You know what I think that's from? You know what I think that comes from? I think it's come from because most parents don't know nothing. And so they can't teach the kid nothing. And that falls on the parent. They don't, because like you say, these kids are sharp.
Right.
I'm talking. I met a 4-year-old today. She said, "I'm gonna cook you dinner," and drew out all the food on the paper. I was like, wow. So they're sharp.
Yes.
But what they get from their parents is like you say, the TV, all these toys.
Right.
I think that's another thing that messes up too. Toys. All this junk we buy.
Right.
And the kid plays with it for a couple of days and throw it away.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So you're right about the kids, and then it's like it suffocates the kid. They can't develop right because they have a barrier somewhere the parents not putting in.
Right. And they lack appreciation for anything. Yeah. They lose any appreciation for what they have and how it's been and given to them. Because you know what? They're so smart that they know when you're just giving something to them so you don't have to give them what they really need, which is that attention, right? Right. They know that you're just bribing them. They know that you're just paying them off. They know that you're just distracting them with these things because you want to be able to work that second job so you can get that nicer car or you want to be able to, wear these certain clothes or body certain clothes for them, and they know that you're busy and you don't want to be bothered, but you want to just give them the things because your time is you don't have it because you're so tired or what have you or distracted, you know. So that's the monsters that we're creating, and we have to stop this. These young men, these young women who don't have anybody to show them how to be men and women. And you know what? We I don't know what you say we don't know how, but we definitely have information.
Oh no, you have millions of parents, married couples, whatever, that have the information that are doing that.
Hmm.
But what I'm saying, it's so many of us. See, I don't go by that. We're 13% of the population.
Oh no.
I'm not in
We're
the
a lot. We're
way
there's so many of us. Like that's why they're upset because
right.
there are tons of indigenous males, young indigenous males out there. And I was talking to my older cousin who's in her 70s about her grandsons because I'm having the summit, right, and I'm trying to make sure everybody's entertained, and I'm very more concerned with the youth than anybody because those are the people that I'm old, I'm tired, I need somebody, I
Right.
need the young folks to take over, and I'm really eager to get them engaged, And so I was like, well, what do you think about your grandsons? He says the only thing they seem to be in love or interested in, not careers, not work, not anything, really just their phones.
The phone.
I've been hearing that so much this week, this month. It's very disturbing, this contraption. And although I'm holding it and doing this now, it has become a major fixture, an addiction. I was addicted to that app Clubhouse. I was really addicted, and then I was like, Lord, the craziness and the disrespect that's going on in that app. I yesterday I deleted it from my phone. I was like, I ain't doing no more of that stuff. That's a distraction, and these people are just so rude and disrespectful, and it's out of hand. I do not need. I have to be extremely positive to actually will and manifest the things I'm trying to manifest for the Akamax. And it's like if I have all this negative energy coming at me, I can't afford it. I can't take the chance. I really can't. I can't take the chance to actually have that much negative energy coming at me. But these young kids that are distracted by this monster media, the media has their minds, and it makes them sharp, but it also makes them just just paralyzed because they don't really know how to interact and socialize and
Let me ask you a
engage
question.
and create authentically.
Let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Would your mother have bought you a cell phone?
Yeah, she probably would have. She would have.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, because I know my people were really into, they were very modern. You know what I mean?
right.
They were modern people. I think that if I they indulged us, not a lot, but I feel like if it was something like it is now where kids have it, and yeah, they would have got me a cell phone. I think
Yeah.
so. No, actually, let me tell you this they would have had me buy my own cell. I'm thinking about
Yeah.
now. No, reverse that. They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have brought it for me because I got a house phone when I was like, I don't know, a young teen, a house phone in my room. I had to pay for it to get installed from the power line to my yes, and pay the monthly bill. So yeah, if I wanted a cell phone, erase that. I would have had to pay for a cell phone.
Yeah.
I could have one, but I'd have to pay for it,
Right. So that
and
was
I'd have to pay the bill. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm used to. Had to do
Hmm.
it yourself.
Yeah, I'd have to do it
It just
myself.
wasn't given to you.
No, it wouldn't have been given to me.
Yeah.
No, no. I had to really think about that. I was like, wait a minute. We didn't have cell phones, but I actually did have a house phone, and I paid
Yeah.
for everything. Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
I don't have it like they have it now. I didn't have it like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I had to. My mom wouldn't even drive me to work when I got a job. I had to ride my bike to work back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I wanted to work, I had to get there and get back. So I rode my bike to the restaurant. I was taking care of people in the nursing home or whatever it was. I was getting there. I wasn't inconveniencing their life with my job.
Right.
That was for me to do. Okay, figure it out.
So how do you think, or why do you think those type of that type of thinking, doing living life that type of way, how do you think we lost that? How come you think that wasn't passed down to this generation?
Well, like I said, I think some of it's just like guilt, and just how some the ways in some of we're living. After divorce, oh, I'm gonna compensate because your dad's a shithead. You know what I mean? That
Right.
kind of stuff. So you end up doing things that you shouldn't do to compensate for things that they're lacking. But I mean, and it's really your guilt. You're trying to appease your own guilt, you know, and appeasing your own guilt. You're creating these monsters, but nothing is perfect. These things happen. You make wrong. We may all are fallible. We're human. We make the bad decisions. We marry the wrong individuals. Things happen. So I mean, to sit up there and compensate for it and ruin someone in the process, that's kind of a problem. But that's what happens. I think one of the losses in this just generation is that a lot of this is guilt compensation, and it doesn't help anything, because our parents didn't believe in that feeling guilty. They're like, why, because they grew up kind of rough. They had to work on farms or do different things, and they're like, look, I had it hard. I had to work for what was mine. I had to make my way. I was out of the house at a certain time, so this is how I lived. And so they didn't expect it to make it easier on you, because they feel like what they went through made them better. And somehow this baby boomer generation got it twisted, and they didn't realize that what we went through was hard, made us better. We just want to give more. We think giving more is doing better to our kids. We twisted it up. But guess what? We were also brainwashed to believe that. The media actually gave us, spoon fed us, the Brady Bunch and all this stuff, where we thought that just by you just give, you just indulge, 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 and that makes kids happy and makes you have a happy, perfect family. And everything's geared towards being consumers, and throwing merchandise at each other instead of throwing our time and our energy and our hearts, and sharing ourselves with each other.
But
We lost that.
isn't that what we wanted to integrate into though?
We wanted to integrate into some fantasy, because we thought that these entities that are devoid of light, of color, that these were something that we needed to aspire to. We thought that they had the great life. Why? Because that's what they promoted. That's the propaganda they threw in our face. We're great. We have it great. We are great. Everything we do is great, great, great. And we believed it. Meanwhile, they're looking at us with envy, because we're laughing, we're joking, we're playing cards. Where kids are playing in the yard, they playing in the mud. They're out fishing. We out there going, you know what I mean? We're making clothes together. We're doing all kinds of stuff, right? We're happy with whatever. If we got a couple of apples to make a cobbler, if we got a couple of peaches, if we got a couple of pieces of fish to eat, we're good. We make it work. And I'm think that's the thing that makes them perplexed about us. But then what they want to do is give us the spirit of want, of the spirit of lack, and that nothing is ever enough. We lack, I need more, I need more. And they gave us that, and we never had that. We never had this monster that kept eating inside of us, this greed and a sense of lack. These are monsters. These are monsters. The greed and the lack and all this desire to daggone, obtain all these things, all this materialism. This is a monster. And they fed it to us on a regular basis. I want the Cocoa Puffs, Mom. Cheerios ain't nothing. I want the Cocoa Puffs. Oatmeal grits ain't good enough. That's what they did. They made it the monster that we just have to consume anything they told us to consume. We wanted it. We had to have it. It had to be a part of our life. We had to obtain it. And now we have this sense, it puts an emptiness inside you because you're never satisfied. And they know why? They know why they wanted us to feel this? Because they're never satisfied. They are never satisfied. But guess what? Our nature is that we are easily satisfied. Like we find satisfaction in simple things. Like I said, like a good conversation, you know, just being vibing with somebody that you're like, man, they just cool, right? They just cool. I like being around you. It's cool. We can sit around not say nothing. Just listen to the crickets. Just watch the lightning bugs. You know what I'm saying? We find happiness in all these simple things. They did not sing. We'll start singing. We'll start just tapping, you know, making a beat. We create happiness. We create this energy, this high energy. Instead, now we want this external stuff to give it to us. We want something to jolt us into happiness because we've lost our way. We've let these devices and these external things that we're always desiring. Oh, you need this outfit. Oh, you need that. Or you need that kind of pants. Or you need that kind of car. Or you need that. We let that be the biggest thing in us when it's never been. It's never been.
Well, Lisa, we coming up on time. I just want to tell you thank you.
Yeah,
Letting us,
come.
just reminding us of these monsters like we create. So a lot of times there's nobody to blame because we fall for it. Any trick they come out with, we fall for it. Any food they come out with, we want to be the first to test it.
Right.
We
We
want
want
to
to
be,
vote. We want to vote for
yeah,
what do I call her? I don't know. I call her with a lot of different things. But we want to vote for people that look similar to us, you know, who have nothing to do with us and have done nothing good towards us. Talk about a monster. Talk about the things she's been daggone separating kids from women, putting women in jail, jailing everybody that look like you. And some people were like, they say stuff, flippant stuff, like, well, that's her job. She's supposed to do that. She's a DA. She's supposed to. That's her job. And she ain't doing her job. Really? 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 That's how you feel about it? Like that's success? If you're a DA? Is that how this isn't it supposed to be justice? Aren't you supposed to do what's right? Like, even if you're a DA and your job is to put criminals in jail, is not to create criminals, is not to criminalize people who should not be in jail. There's a difference. I mean, these people act like her locking up welfare mothers and people and throwing a book at people for petty crimes. That's her doing her job. That these people we need to be saved in society from these people. No, sir, that's a monster. We have monsters that we are welcoming into our lives every day, whether it's the politicians, the people we get involved with physically, mentally, whether it's these people who we trust, these entities, the propaganda, the news, the media, the whatever, whether it's the people we create it.
we create them, y'all. So Lisa, thank you for joining us this Friday evening.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and to the audience, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hope you learned something from this tonight. Uh, we got to look at stuff from our point of view because you have a voice. You can say something. You can't say nothing coming from Africa. You can't say nothing coming from Arabia. You can't say nothing coming from all these places that they say you are, because it takes you off your foundation here. Keep that in mind.
All right.
We'll see you next week. Peace.